Well, growing up in Iowa and talking about this dream to climb Mount Everest, a lot of people thought it was hilarious. And I think as kids, sometimes people do laugh when we tell them what our dreams are. But we have to have confidence in ourselves and work with our mentors to break these things down into something that's more tangible. So after I identified my Everest dream, I began to break it down. And it started by a very simple thing. I just had to find a mountain. So I began going off to Colorado and going different places to climb high mountains. And after I learned to climb high mountains, I had to learn how to climb high mountains that were covered in snow. So it's just a very simple progression. After learning to climb snowy mountains, I had to learn how to climb on glaciers. And glaciers, of course, are just snowy mountains where the snow stays there all the time and it begins to slide down the mountain. And where it slides, these crevasses open up. Those are just big cracks in the snow. And then the snow covers the crevasses. So as you walk off across these snowfields, you may think it's very safe, but you may be standing on a snow bridge. So it's very, very dangerous if you don't properly prepare and know how to cross those things safely. So after learning to climb on the high mountains, the snowy mountains, the glaciated mountains, I had to learn how to climb vertical ice. And that's where we take steel spikes and attach those to our boots, and we take steel axes in our hands, and we climb up and down these vertical ice waterfalls. And then we took all of those tools in our toolbox, and we used those skills to approach our first long-term goal, which was a climb of Mount McKinley up in Alaska. And as we started to achieve the short-term goals and the long-term goals, that Everest dream came closer and closer. But as I went on these expeditions, what I learned was that a big part of being successful on the mountain and in life is our ability to deal with fear. And as a climber, I had the opportunity to become afraid probably more often than I would have liked to. But what I found was that there's two different reasons why we become afraid. The first is because we're doing something that we just shouldn't be doing. Fear kind of our body's way of protecting us. We become afraid, and it's our body telling us to just stop and to turn around and go back to safety. But the second type of fear is a little bit different. The second type of fear is what we feel when we're on a new path, to a new goal, to a new dream. And it's something our friends and our family hasn't done before. And with that newness comes uncertainty. And with that uncertainty comes fear. So if we're going to be successful on the Everest dream, again, whatever that Everest dream may be, we've got to recognize the two types of fear. We've got to recognize the first type and stop and go back to safety. And we have to recognize the second type of fear and overcome it and succeed. So in my pursuit of my Everest dream, I had to learn to break these big goals down into the small steps and kind of be creative to overcome fear, ultimately to have success.